Well, so grew up, helped your dad with the business, had a childhood in Chicago.
In Chicago.
Did you spend any time out of Chicago growing up?
Yeah, I went up to Wisconsin. I started going up there with my family, like to the Dells area, and I'm Ho Chunk, so my people were like the first people in Chicago area. Then they migrated up to Wisconsin, and that's like our kind of where our tribe is now. It's in Baraboo. So
can you tell us a little bit about that for people that we have no idea what's going on? Ho Chunk?
Yeah, the Ho Chunk Nation. They were referred to as Winnebago, but we went back to our original name for ourselves, which is Ho Chunk, people with the big voice. So they were the first inhabitants in the Chicago area, and then they migrated up to Wisconsin. Around there, a couple like Madison, they're by the Four Lakes, different areas in Wisconsin. Then when there was the whole Indian problem, and we had to do something with Indians because there's this big issue, can't kill them off, and we got to move them, right? So the government came and made us walk from Wisconsin to Nebraska. So you were forced to walk. There was no choice. You can't stay. You have to pick up your crap and you got to go. And you got to go now. And if you didn't, then you were either put in prison or you're killed. So our tribe went to Nebraska, and then a bunch of the elders and some other people they couldn't be away from home. They wanted to come back. So we came back, and so there were some people who couldn't make it, and they stayed there in Nebraska, and some people who came back to Wisconsin. So then you have two branches, the ones that stayed, which are now Nebraska Winnebago, and the ones for Wisconsin. And the ones in Wisconsin are now called Ho Chunk.
Okay.
So two different tribes now that were just one before.
And in the city of Chicago, then there's also a large community?
Yeah, it's not as large, but it's very unique in that in Chicago, because there's no one tribe with any kind of reservation in the area, there's a lot of like mixing going on. There's a lot of different tribes that come here, and we all kind of know to meet at the Indian Center, the American Indian Center in Chicago. Chicago
seems to be that type of place, like even with industry or the different art and design. It seems like it really seems like it's just this area is everything's it's converging. I think is a word that somebody used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that also because there's so many people from different places, to ask. Like I'm interested to meet new people. I know that they might be from somewhere else or into something different, and not only that they have something to give me, right, in exchange, but that they're usually open to hearing what I have to say too. And it kind of makes it feel like it's a huge city, but at the same time, there's community waiting to be found. You just have to find where you fit and be willing to take the step. Because some people could go around all day looking down, not caring, not engaging, because they feel like they might be turned away. But once you start to look up and you start to reach out, you're going to be welcomed in,
Yeah. Now, outside of bricklaying, then, what would some of your hobbies be or some things you like to do for fun?
A big part of my time is volunteering. That helps to balance out the brawniness of the job site that I take home with me, So I do like to lend a hand at community centers. Then I also volunteer with Chicago Women in Trades to help aspiring tradeswomen and get into the industry, tell them my hard knocks, listen to, if they get a job, how things are going for them, tell them how to put on muscle, how to grow some thick skin. Then we also do like an outreach with young girls to let them know what it's like to use a hammer, to let them know that there's that option for them if they want to, because sometimes, if you're a boy growing up, you have uncles and fathers that talk to you like that. They tell you, hey, this is what you can do. They take you on the job site and you're just like a little rugrat. When you're a girl, that's not always the case, right? Nobody thinks to talk to you about that. They think to talk to you about like being a beautician or being like a fashion stylist or something, but not about the construction industry, right? Non-traditional trades. So if you can bust your butt being a nurse, right? Cleaning people's shit, turning them over, giving them like, what do they call them? The baths where they're just laying down.
Yeah, sponge bath.
Sponge bath, yeah. If you can do that and lift that kind of weight and do that kind of Grammy stuff that, come on. then most likely you can be doing some construction because that's heavy lifting. That's like you'll be getting dirty, but you'll be making some good money. You'll be satisfied. It's not for everybody, but I just want them to know that there's the option, and they're not alone if they want to do it. And aside of that, I love to make new friends, right? Lately, some of the friends I've been making are like activist, organizer type. Awesome people help me to feel balanced. You know, they deal with people and ideas like fair trade products. Bringing news to the communities that needs to be brought, helping spread the word, bringing musical acts that are on the same wavelength, you know. So they really help me feel balanced. The volunteering, right, the friends I'm making, they all contribute to like my sanity. So when I'm on the job site, I don't snap, you know. And it's okay if I were to snap, I just like, you know, bust the block or something, whatever. Not a big deal. But then I don't have to go to like that really extreme energy level, you know?
Yeah.
So, and let's see what else I'd like to do. Bike riding, getting out in the city. I love galleries. I love the museum, the Mexican Museum. That's my favorite spot. I try to get there at least once a month.
Yeah, Chicago's full of art galleries and museums and different things. So you've done some traveling?
Yeah, I've been to Mexico a few times. We got a house there. Wisconsin. I took off when I was 19. I went on Amtrak, and I just went like hosteling around. So I went to like Arizona, Acoma, Pueblo, Sky City. I went to Flagstaff, Sedona, some place I thought sounded cool because it was called Truth or Consequences. I'm like, ooh, I gotta go there, right? Truth or Consequences.
Yeah.
Don't go there.
No?
No.
I wanted to go.
Did you just seriously?
I've seen it, yeah.
Don't go. It was, well, you know what? It might be all right. I went to Truth or Consequences, and I got to this place that I thought was gonna be like, you know, the hostel that was nearby. And I get there, and this lady's like, I had talked to her previously so she could pick me up from the bus stop. So I get there, and she's like, oh, you're Vanessa. Oh my gosh, are you native? And I'm like, yeah, I'm native. She's like, oh, we've been waiting for you. And all of a sudden I was like this like prophet or something, you know? And I'm like, dude, I'm 19.
It was a little like cult town or something.
The lady, she was a little off, you know, and she thought I was gonna like bring her something, and I was like the energy that just needed to be brought and like balance everything out. And I get there, she's like, you're gonna love it, we have teepees. I'm like, you're in the desert, no? Like, people here don't use teepees. Wait, aren't you native? You use teepees. And I'm like, no, we use wigwams because that's what my tribe uses. There's over like 500 tribes around here. You can't generalize us. So, and she didn't try to give me a lecture about why I should be using teepees. And I'm like, it's time for me to go. This is not going to be a good visit if you're trying to school me right away off the bat and aren't you a prophet anyways, you know? So I was like, peace out, man, I'm gone. It was not good. And then I went to El Paso, and that was an experience in itself too. It was, you know, it's right by Mexico, so it looks a lot like Mexico to me. The smells were the same, some of the sounds, like the dry dust everywhere. And it was kind of scary because the hostel I ended up staying in was like a really bad, seedy hotel. Right, and then I was like getting followed around by this stalker guy that just kept circling and following me. And I'm from Chicago, so I get pissed off and I let you know, right? So I start mouthing off to him, and it just encourages him to follow me more. So I went into like this military store, and I bought like these brass knuckles. I'm not a violent person, but if I
While he was following you?
Yeah, because he was following me and waiting. You know, I was going here and there, and he was like, every time I come out, he's waiting. He's whistling shit, and he's like saying obscene stuff to me. So I got these brass knuckles, and then I just like flipped out. So I knew I had my knuckles, right? And I just figure, okay, like if I'm yelling at him, but I'm still kind of being like complacent, like I'm just on the sidewalk yelling at him. So I get these brass knuckles. I know what I got, right? And I didn't want to have to use it. I really didn't. So I'm just like, I just had enough. So I start like running at him, and I'm screaming stuff, and I sound like a crazy woman. And he just like peels out of there, and he's just like, I'm done with this, you know. She ain't worth it. And it wasn't, you know. And that was it. So it was a weird. And after that, you know, and that's when we went to the museum, and you see the bag with like the image of the Juarez girl, one of the women that was killed in Juarez, and that's when those murders were going on. So I was like, okay, that's enough. I need to go. I survived this instance. I don't need to push luck. Like, I'm up. there's nothing really for me to see or do here. I'm just gone. I'm done.